Well, hi guys. Hey, it's Linda Anderson here from Linda Lou Creates, and I'm really happy you're here with me. I wanted to share a favorite stamp set of mine out of the Holiday Mini Catalog. It is called Festive Post. And what I really like about this is that it coordinates with the rectangular postage punch. And this is actually in the annual catalog as a bundle with the stamp set posted for you. So if you're interested in this stamp set and the punch, buy them together, save 10%. Or you can just get the punch, and if you're like me, love this stamp set, you can do that as well. So here are the cards that I'm going to share with you tonight. And I have used the Festive Post stamp set on all of them. I've added a few extra little stamp sets along the way. I just couldn't help myself. But I thought I want to cover a couple holidays on that. So we have Halloween, Christmas, and Valentine's Day. So let's get started. I want to share this one. Now, let me give you a heads up on something. If you don't quite catch all of the measurements for all of the cards, don't worry. There is going to be a printable tutorial down in the description of this video that you'll be able to click on and then print and have your own tutorial with all the measurements and everything to go with this. So keep that in mind. All right. I just had to share, and I had to put to use Have a Hoot. This stamp set, I was forever looking at it in the catalog. The holiday mini catalog, and it is just so stinking adorable. Now, if you know me, you know I'm not a big fan of coloring, but that stamp set, there's not a lot of coloring that needs to be done, let me tell you. So I went ahead and did some stamping, some coloring ahead of time, just to help sort of move this along. So let's get going here on some things you're going to need. First up, the card base is Smoky Slate, and I want to do a little disclaimer on this. The tutorial that I told you about, well, I have the measurements in there of the 8.5 by 5.5 inch card base. All right, but my sample, what I'm going to be showing you, is the top folding one. So that means it is 11 by 4.25. So either one works, either measurement works. But just know, like I said, it's my disclaimer that the tutorial does have the 8.5 by 5.5. So, all right, Smoky Slate is that. I have a piece of Whisper White. I used these Stitched So Sweetly dies. Let me grab them. I actually have two of them in use right now, so you can see that I never did go and grab them before doing the video. So anyway, this one measures, and I'm going approximate with these, 3 by 4. Okay, so I've got my rectangle here. All right, I just have a piece of scrap of the pumpkin pie cardstock. I'm going to use pumpkin pie ink as well with one of the stamps from the Festive Post stamp set. I just thought it was fun to have just a tiny little background for the owl and his jack-o'-lantern to sit on. So here is the stamp, these stripes. Like I said, pumpkin pie ink. And I'm going to go ahead, stamp that up. Let me just close this up real quick before I drop anything in it. And I'm going to grab the punch. I always like to punch when I'm trying to measure things upside down so that I can see exactly where I am. So there we go. Isn't that awesome? I really like that. So, okay. So here is that little background for my owl with his jack-o'-lantern, and even within that owl set comes the word boo. So what I'm going to do here, just grab a glue dot. I'm going to attach the sentiment right over Mr. Owl. And now I'm going to pop a couple of pop dots, rather, or dimensionals, because I'm going to have him sitting on top of this rectangle that we just punched out. So I have both the mini and the regular size dimensionals. So now I know I'm going to be off the edge here on two sides, so I will place my dimensionals accordingly. All right, let me see if I can fit this one in. I sure can. All right. And then next, I'm going to also put some dimensionals on the back of my rectangle too. So let's do that. I do love my dimensionals, got to tell you. Okay, so we're going to work on that. Let me set that aside. Before I did the dimensionals, what I should have done, so let me peel this one off. There's always mistakes that are going to happen and ways to fix them. So I have this, this again is out of the dies from the owl set, is this awesome spider web. I do like that. So I'm going to kind of pop that in there too. So let me just put a glue dot here on the back of my rectangle and then slip in the spider web. Now I can bring back in my dimensional. Now I can pop it in there. Okay. I thought there was something missing. Okay, so next up, I'm going to move stuff because we're going to get a little messy here with the next thing we're going to do. And I'm going to do, I don't know if you can see it, let me bring the sample one back in, but this splatter. That was done actually with a black Stampin' Right marker. Okay, so like I said, I got to move stuff. And I want to show you what I did there. The markers have the bullet end and the brush end. You're going to want to use the brush end for this. So I'm going to pop it off, use the cap to, you're going to insert the tip in and then just kind of flick it out. And you can see, I will show you here in a second. Probably you can see the mess I'm making because you don't know where these are going to go, but you can see the speckles and the flecks that I've placed on that piece. So make sure you cover your workspace, move everything out of the way that's important, okay? So now I plan on putting this down in the corner. So I'll do that sometimes. I'll just place pieces down and kind of get an idea of where they're going to be, especially if I want to add something to it. And I happen to want to add these little bats. So let me ink those up, and I'm going to put one set there. I think these things are so stinking cute. I mean, because they're small and just a perfect little touch. Just those bats. And there you go. All right, so we can start getting ready to do some more assembling here. I want to put, let me bring the sample back in here in the corner. And I just have a string of some, or a length of some linen thread. So let me just go ahead and wrap this around 3 times. So you can wrap it any way you want. I like the fact that I have the scallops there to help hold it in place. I'm just going to use, I use Scotch tape to hold mine in place. My Scotch tape is the double-sided tape, so it's obviously sticky on both sides. So let me get that. And I over measured, so let's just kind of trim this off. Okay. Now this can go on to the card base. Okay. So here it is. I like using, anymore I've been really going for the multi-purpose liquid glue. So that's what I'm going to use here to get this put in place. Okay. Did you notice I checked? Because I already have my insides in. And not that long ago I made a card and I put it on the wrong side. The front of it actually was the back. So as you can see, I did the inside already with my 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of white. Have a hoot on Halloween, did another cute little pumpkin and owl in there, the same one. So So here's where we go. We're just going to go ahead, pop our piece from the Festive post, and this little piece of the pumpkin pie with the stripes, I mean, it just adds a little something. I'll be honest with you, when I first saw the stripes, my mind immediately went to Christmas and like candy canes and things like that. And I thought, I want to think of something else. So then when I got the owl set and they have Halloween images in there, I knew. I knew I had to do Halloween with this. So, all right, there he is. Now, all the trimmings, embellishments. Okay, that is also from the holiday catalog. Let's get some stars put on. So let me just grab my Picket tool, and I am going to pick up a couple of these. Let's see. Okay. I'm actually going to do 3 of them. So, and there it is. I love that. And like I said, that little touch of the pumpkin pie underneath there, you know, perfect. Perfect. Now, let's make this Festive post punch be an image, be the main image of our card. And that's what I did with this one. So we're going to move into Christmas. And what I meant was, here's our main image using the deer from that stamp set. And I gold embossed it on some Just Jade cardstock. So here's what I'm talking about. Let me move the supplies out of the way. So here's just a scrap piece of the cardstock, and I am going to get the deer and some Versamark. Versamark is a watermark ink. It's kind of sticky, and it's wonderful for heat embossing, because what it will do is hold on to the embossing powder when you sprinkle over it. Now, initially, you're not going to see it very well, all right? You see a little bit of it, but let me bring my scrap paper back in. It's still wet or sticky, and I'm going to just dump some gold embossing powder over it. Okay. And I like to just flick it from the back, make sure there's no stray powder, and then you're going to use your heat tool and set it. And then after you have it heat set, you're going to punch it out. And that's what I have. Let me just pump that back in. Okay, so that's what I have here. It's already embossed, and I already punched it out. Okay? So the rest of the supplies that you're going to need for this card are, it's a Just Jade card base. Then I have a piece of the cinnamon cider. The cinnamon cider measures 5 1/4 by 4. I have a piece of Very Vanilla. This is 5 inches by 3 3/4. This is a piece from the 6x6 pack of the In Colors, the latest one. So that's the 2020 to 2022. That pack, they're 6x6, and this one measures, it is 3 3/4 across, 3 1/4 inches high. So let me go ahead and get this popped on. I used the polka dots on the sample card, and I just thought it would be fun to then use the wood grain on this card. So let me just get this put on. All right. I like the glue because I can move things around, make sure that I have everything lined up the way I want it. And there we go. All right. Now this can go down on top of the cinnamon cider layer. So let's go ahead and do that too. Then I'm going to show you what this piece of red is. It is, It's yummy, I gotta tell you. It is actually velvet, red velvet paper. And I mean, it is stunning. I ran it through an embossing folder. This is the Winter Snow embossing folder again from the mini catalog. And I hope you can see it on camera because it is beautiful. I can show you on the back. But I mean, it is just stunning. It's also cut out with one of those Stitch So Sweetly dies. The scalloped and then the stitching in there. And you know what? This one measures about 2.5 by 3 5/8. Okay, so let's get this adhered down. Okay, and I just have it running this direction. You know, red and green, of course, very traditional, but that hint of that cinnamon cider layer here, I just thought that was fantastic. All right, so here's where my deer is going to go. I cut a couple pieces of linen thread that are going to go across my card, if I can get this to work in my fingers. So all right, I actually cut 3 pieces of the linen thread, and just as long as they're long enough to stretch across the width of the card and then secure onto the back. So here we go. Let's see if I can get my fingers to work for this. So, and again, I'm going to use my double-sided Scotch tape to hold it in place. And stretch it across, and here we go. I will secure it to the back on this side now. You can use regular Scotch tape on that. That doesn't matter. I just happen to use the double-sided. Okay, now this can now go to the card base. All right, so we've got it all secured down. Let me make sure I have my, there it is, going in the right direction. And like I said, mine's the top folding card. You can do it either way. It doesn't matter, however you like to have yours oriented. And so now let's get the deer on. I do have some dimensionals on this. I did kind of leave the center free of this rectangle from dimensionals. That way it allows that linen thread to kind of go through there, and that'll help keep it from sagging in the middle. That's why I use a lot of dimensionals, is I hate for it to sag. I have, again, from those Stitch So Sweetly dies. That's a fantastic set, obviously. I did the sentiment from the Festive post, and that is in cinnamon cider on this piece of Very Vanilla. And I went ahead and I already attached the, they are gold glitter enamel dots. So here's what they look like in several different sizes. Okay. And then the last and the final thing is a linen thread bow. I just folded it in half, so I have my 2 strands going. And as soon as I can find, here they are, where I put my glue dots, I will go ahead. I like to just go ahead and pop it on the glue dot. And then I will roll it up kind of on itself. Let's put it into place. And then decide how long you want your tails. So I actually kind of, I don't know, I want to maybe cut them a little bit. We'll start with a little, and I think I'm going to stop right there. I like that. All right, so here it is with the wood grain paper. Here it is with the polka dot paper. So there's card number 2, using then that stamp set and the punch for your main image. Okay, now card number 3, we're moving into Valentine's Day. And now we're going to create a background using that stamp set and punch. So what I have is a real red card base. Now, again, does not matter the orientation of it. However, as you can see, I rounded all the corners of my card base and my layer of white here. This happens to be 4 by 5 1/4. I want to just show you the detailed trio punch. So you have obviously 3 different things that you can pick from. Sorry for the glare. I'm going to use the corner rounder. So even with the heavy cardstock, I can still put it in, both of them at the same time for that card base. I can even put it in where that fold is. Okay, so it's good. You know, it's a good punch. I was concerned at first whenever I did here where it's folded in half, but it just cut right through it. So that's what I did already. Now, the stamp set that I used from the Festive Post, let me bring it back in, down here. I also used this word love. I'll show you that in a moment. I just got a piece of Whisper White scrap and I stamped it in real red ink 5 times and punched it out. And then I laid it down on my piece of the 5 1/4 by 4 inch of white as well. That way I just glued it down and created the background. For the rectangle number 6, I did again the real red ink, but I put it on a piece of Flirty Flamingo scrap and punched it out. Now let me bring in the sample back. Here I glued it straight down to the white. Today on the video I wanted to show you, I just wanted to change this up, and I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of this. Okay, so I just thought it would be fun to have that one popped up. Just a little something different. Okay, so let me get that lined up. There we go. Now you'll notice the heart that is out with in gold foil, and I used the die set. It's called Be Mine. It has a variety of hearts, and I used one of these, the smallest of the scallop stitched heart out of that. All right, so that's the gold foil. That's just adhered straight down. Now remember I said that word love I'm using again on scrap paper, and I just cut it out and around of it with my paper snips. That's the black Memento Tuxedo black ink that I used there. Yeah, there's some dimensionals on the back of this as well. All right, and it will fit nicely, and I'm going to put it right on this pink one right over the heart, and it's popped up. I like that being popped up that way. Okay, so let's go ahead and adhere this down again with my glue. So we have created a background now using that Festive Post stamp set and the punch, and we're hitting up several of the holidays. So let me get this one down. And the only other thing I want to do here is just add a few embellishments, and that happens to be just some pearls. So I have not many left of my pearls. So I am going to just pop them in the center of some of these flowers. So I thought that 5 of them was my odd number. So I'm actually going to do it in all of these white pieces here. I'm not putting any of the pearls on the pink, on the Flirty Flamingo. So, and there's the final one there. Okay, so here we go. And there it is with Valentine's Day. I do like having that popped up, that rectangle there. So, all right, let me bring these all back. So we've got our Valentine's Day. We have got Christmas and can I say this one's my favorite? The Halloween card. So here are the cards again, using the Festive Post stamp set and the punch, the rectangle postage punch. Like I said, make sure you pick up the printable tutorial that's down below in the description so you have all the measurements and supplies that I used. I really do appreciate you guys hanging with me, and thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing too by clicking on that little bell. I do have a website, or a blog rather, and it is lindaloucreates.com. And yeah, there you can sign up for my newsletter. But hey, thanks again for joining me, guys, and I hope you get a chance to create today. Bye now.